They called her a lost cause. Not the first family, not the second, and certainly not the third. She was a 140-pound Dogue de Bordeaux with a black velvet muzzle that had turned gray from the stress of constant abandonment. Deep mahogany fur covered a body that was slowly giving up on life, and her eyes, dark, heavy, and vacant, had seen far too many goodbyes. 3 families, 3 chances, 3 times she was brought back to that cold concrete kennel like a defective product. Behind closed doors, the shelter workers at the Chatham County Animal Shelter were whispering the words no one wanted to say out loud. Cleo is running out of time. To the world, she was a 140-pound monster that was too much to handle. But to Megan Hartley, she was a soul that had simply forgotten how to hope. Little did Megan know, this unwanted giant was about to become the only thing standing between her and a nightmare she never saw coming. Megan Hartley was 31 years old, single, and living a life that felt a little too quiet. She lived in a small, historic house in Savannah, Georgia, a home filled with too many empty rooms and not enough reasons to leave work early. As a registered nurse, Megan spent her days caring for others, pouring every ounce of her energy into patients who needed her, only to return each evening to a silent house and dinner for one. For 2 years, she had been telling herself she didn't need a dog. Her schedule was too unpredictable, her house was too small, her life was too settled. She was wrong. She just didn't know it yet. It was a humid Saturday morning in March when her coworker practically dragged her to the shelter. Just to look, she had promised. Megan agreed, mostly because it was easier than arguing, but she wasn't prepared for Kennel 7. While other dogs were barking, jumping, and begging for attention, a massive shadow sat in the very back corner, completely still. The kennel card read like a list of failures. Cleo, female, Dogue de Bordeaux, 5 years old, 140 pounds, returned 3 times. A volunteer named June appeared next to Megan. "She's dying of a broken heart," June whispered. "She came in at a 152 pounds, but every time she gets returned, she stops eating. She just shuts down. She's at 133 now, and her organs are starting to feel the strain. We don't know how much longer she can hold on." Megan looked at Cleo. Cleo didn't look back. She had learned that looking up only led to watching someone walk away. "Why does she keep coming back?" Megan asked, her voice barely steady. June sighed, a sound full of years of heartbreak. The first family said she took up too much space. The second said she was too slow, too lazy. They wanted an active hiking dog. The third, she stopped. The third left her tied to our front gate at 4 a.m. without a single word. Megan stood there for a long time. She looked at a dog who had learned that hope was a dangerous thing, something that lifted you up just long enough to drop you harder. Then she went home, sat at her kitchen wall for an hour, and drove back. The paperwork took 20 minutes. Megan was now the owner of a 133-pound dog the world had given up on. The first month was an education in patience. Cleo moved through the house like a ghost, tracing every baseboard with her nose, memorizing every exit as if she needed to know the way out before she could trust the way in. She wouldn't sleep in the middle of the room. She slept with her back against the wall, always facing the door, always watching. Megan began a mission. She bought high-calorie, high-protein food. She sat on the floor for every single meal, speaking softly to Cleo until the giant dog finally lowered her head and took a bite. By week 6, the ribs were no longer visible. By month 2, Cleo was back to 151 pounds, solid, smooth-coated, and powerful in the way a healthy Dogue de Bordeaux is meant to be. But the real healing was happening somewhere no scale could measure. Cleo began to assign herself shifts. When Megan cooked, Cleo was the kitchen guard, lying in the doorway like a warm, breathing doorstopper. When Megan showered, Cleo sat just outside the curtain, silent and steady. When the 5:30 a.m. alarm went off, Cleo was already there, her massive head resting on the edge of the mattress, watching Megan's face until her eyes opened. She simply existed in the same space as Megan, making sure that for the first time in years, neither of them was truly alone. 3 months in, Megan had a shift from hell. A patient she had grown close to didn't make it through the night. The weight of the job crashed down all at once. She walked through her front door, dropped her keys on the floor, and slid down the hallway wall, sobbing. Cleo didn't hesitate. The 150-pound dog walked over slowly, lowered herself, and climbed into Megan's lap, a ridiculous, heavy, warm mess of fur and loyalty. They sat there for an hour. Megan cried into that mahogany coat, and for the first time in a long time, she felt like she was truly home. I see you're still with me watching Cleo's journey. If this story is touching your heart, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps us tell more stories of dogs who just need one last chance. Now, let's get to the night that changed everything. It was a Wednesday in October, the kind of night where Georgia humidity hangs thick and still. At 3:19 a.m., the house was silent, except for a sound Megan had never heard before. It wasn't a bark, it was a low, primal vibration coming from deep in Cleo's chest, the kind of sound that skips your ears and goes straight to your spine. Cleo was standing at the bedroom window, hackles raised, completely still. Megan looked out. A man in a dark hoodie was moving slowly along the side of the house, methodically testing the locks on her back porch. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She called 911, her voice barely above a whisper. The intruder broke the glass, but before he could step inside, Cleo let out a roar that shook the walls. Not the bark of a lazy dog, the sound of a protector who had found something worth protecting. The intruder froze, saw the 150-pound silhouette standing in the darkness, and ran. Police arrived and found him 2 blocks away. He was linked to a string of violent home invasions across Savannah. The responding officer looked at Cleo and said, "Ma'am, that dog just saved your life. Most people would have been a victim tonight." Megan looked down at Cleo, the dog 3 families didn't want, the dog that was too much space and too slow. 140 pounds on arrival, down to 120 at her lowest, back up to 152 today. Every ounce earned. That night, Cleo wasn't a burden, she was a hero. Today, Cleo still carries Megan's right shoe to the door every evening. She still sleeps with her back to the wall, but now she does it with a slow, contented wag. The truth is, Megan didn't rescue Cleo, they rescued each other. Because some dogs don't need a backyard or a hiking partner, they just need someone who finally decides to stay. Would you have given Cleo a 4th chance, or is 3 returns a red flag for you? Tell me in the comments.